Hey there, and welcome to AfterBuzz Anime Reviews. We're talking Fruits Basket. We're going down nostalgia lane because we're talking the OG 2001 version, and we're going to look at the Zodiac. And some of us have seen this show, some of us haven't. Let's take a look at our thoughts.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up? Welcome to AfterBuzz Anime Reviews.
Yay.
We're going back in time.
Yeah.
Because it's an older show, but that's okay. And talking Fruits Basket.
Woo.
First of all, did we notice it was TV ratio? It was a square.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. I was so into it.
I was like, oh, this is old. That's okay.
90s or only 90s kids would understand.
Yeah, they'd be like,
and,
yeah.
And further back.
Oh yeah, the TV was like that. Yes,
Further
yes.
back kids.
My name is Kari Lane. I'm joined by my wonderful panel.
Hey everyone, Veronica Valencia here.
Hey guys, I'm Ollie Drennan.
So I've watched Fruits Basket, but years ago, it came out in 2001, and I watched it. I don't think I watched it then, but I watched it, probably 10 years ago. Same thing with like Full Metal. So there's a lot I did not remember. Veronica, you were excited about the show because you suggested it.
Yes, I was.
So tell us,
Yeah.
what is it you love about the show and you wanted us to watch this one?
Of course. Well, first of all, I just think this show is adorable because I think it's such a great combination of fun characters, romance, comedy. If you're looking for any of that, I put this anime in the category of one of my earlier shows when I first started watching anime, and I watched it when I was much younger. So obviously at that point in time, I was just looking for something that was cute, something that was funny, something where the main characters fall in love and live happily ever after, because that's what I was looking for when I was much younger. But I'm so happy to be rewatching it as an adult because there's so much more character depth and life lessons to take away that I clearly was not registering when I was younger. So I love having the chance to being like, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad I get that now.
Yeah.
And newfound appreciation for
Yeah.
these characters.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
And then, Ollie, you're new to it, so what do you
Yeah.
think of it so far?
I'm this isn't typically an anime that I would sit down and watch myself, but that's totally fine. I think I am glad I'm getting a chance to sit down and watch this anime because just hearing what Veronica had to say that this is an anime that means so much to her growing up. And a lot of my friends would watch it too, but I just never. I love the action and all the crazy sci-fi, whatever, horror, anime, and stuff like that. So, but from what I have so far, I really do like the humor in this. So I hope I get more excited by the end of this. I want to like it and I want to be excited for it. So
Well,
we'll
if to make you feel better, me rewatching, I'm like, oh, it's very young, which is okay.
and a little gendered, but that's also fine
yeah.
too. But
Which
fine,
we'll
that's
talk
fine,
about.
that's
We'll
fine.
talk about some of those things because there were some things that stood out to me. And go, really? Okay. Well, let's dive into it. So we meet our Honda Tohru. Also, watching it subbed, and you guys are watching
Dubbed. Laura
All right.
Bailey, Maka.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We brought her
Oh my
back.
god. I
Yes.
just love Laura Bailey. So already I'm like, okay, I feel at home with this.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and also, real quick, do you know your Chinese zodiac?
I am the year of the dog.
Dog, yay.
I'm a rooster.
Rooster, nice. Ox.
Okay.
And then when Lita asked Jamie, too, because I was curious. I'm like, oh, what are all the signs
Cool.
as they pop up in the show?
Oh, I made sure I knew after watching this show.
You're like, yes, I know. So we meet Honda. So she's year of the dog as well. And she's living in a tent all in secrecy but not that long. She said it's been like a week. But we learned that her mom had died recently, which is like, oh, wow, we're starting on like a heavy note of an anime. Now this is one, so she's super optimistic, which I do love that. This is one where it's interesting watching Japanese versus subtitled. Also, if you watch it subtitled in English, it is not the same subtitles as the subtitle version, just so you know. If you watch dubbed with subtitles, it's
So
not
it's
the
like
same.
Soul Eater, where the subtitles were off?
No, it's the same because they're translating what is exactly said instead of the other.
Oh.
So it's a
so-
good thing.
Which is good because then you're not like, wait, that's not what they said. But in case you're curious, because I went back because one of the ones I was curious what it was. So her phrase as a motto thing, she says that no matter the times, I will not be discouraged. They translate it. The English version just goes, I will never give up, which is the same thing. But I was like, oh, okay, that's a much shorter version. What are we thinking of this character in the middle of the woods, Ollie? You're like, who's this girl?
Well, I want to hear what Veronica has to say first because she's seen it before. Okay, fine, I'll go. I really like this character so far. I think she's just a good, supportive friend, companion, person, human being. But I hope that she doesn't forget about herself. You know, she seems so selfless to the point of like that could be harmful. But I can also, in a sense, relate to that because I always want to help people and I want everyone to be on the same page or okay. So I just hope that she finds that resolve within herself, I guess, so far. That's what I got from her. She's such a good person, but extremely selfless. And I don't want that to backfire for her.
Yeah, it's totally balanced in terms of you still need to not forget you and take care of yourself.
Because even though to me, seeing her, she is like the main character, I'm almost not that interested in her. I'm interested in everyone else.
Sure.
You know, she's kind of just there, and I want to know what her purpose is, and I hope that we find that out.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that you say that, Ollie, and that like she's the main character, but she seems the less interesting because she's just so happy and so positive, which I can understand how some people watching us might find that annoying because it's like, oh, she's just too happy. She's just too optimistic. Like she doesn't think that there's ever going to be a problem. And I get that. But I almost find that admirable in a character who always looks on the bright side and just because that's always like a good thing. You always wish that that was a quality maybe we possessed.
Yeah. Because
it's very easy to, you know, be down on yourself. And so I appreciate the fact that she is so positive, optimistic, and is trying to make the best of whatever situation she's been put in.
And genuinely, though, too. It's not even like her putting it on. That's just who she is. And we learned a lot of that came from her mom and being raised as a single parent, too, or by a single parent. So, yeah, she discovers the house with the 12 Zodiac ornaments, but there's no cat. Had you heard, I mean... beforehand, Veronica, had you heard the idea that the cat is part of a Chinese zodiac?
No.
Or other zodiacs? Too?
I had no knowledge of the Chinese zodiac before watching this series.
Not even at like Chinese restaurants and they have the little placemats?
No, I had absolutely no clue because as I said, you know, this is one of the first batch of animes that I watched, so I was just looking for that romance cutesy thing going on. So whatever the actual backstory was, I wasn't looking at it, but obviously I became very intrigued once I watched this.
And Ollie, had you heard that?
I actually did hear about that. I remember specifically back in the day, elementary school, when I was going to school in Virginia, they actually performed a play. Like kids did the play, and the cat was mad and chased the rat at the end. And
was that a coveted role? Were people like fighting to be the cat? They're like, no, I don't want to be the cat.
I don't know. But that's so funny that watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, I heard that story before. So it was cool. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I do like that they explore it and explain it without it feeling, here is exposition on this information.
There's a whole episode dedicated to the entire story.
Yes.
that was good.
How are we liking their, like, they didn't do it as much as it went on, but the TV cut-ins, essentially, like it's close up and it's like the TV static on them reacting. Did you guys notice those moments where it's like any character where it's an extreme thing, they got really close on their face and it was like close up TV static and them going, or whatever.
I don't know, but there are lots of close-ups I noticed.
Yes.
Everyone's like big old eyes.
Yes.
Beautiful eyes.
Very big eye. Very big-eyed anime.
Big eye. This is a classic giant eyeballs anime. Speaking of, we get our prince. We have Yuki Sohma. What'd you think of him, Ollie?
Not my favorite male character. He's a little... I need to know more about him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a rat. I don't know. I know. Skipping ahead, I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing.
Okay, sure.
But it's the girls at school seem to love Yuki.
Funny thing with that though, earlier when you were saying of like essentially gender roles in Japanese, I'm like 99% sure it's voiced by a woman, and it sounds like very gender fluid of a voice for that character, which I actually found more attractive of them.
Interesting.
I felt the English voice was much too old. No offense, but it's one of those, like, I'm like, oh, it's so weird. Like, listen to it in a little bit, because that makes that moment later. Remember, there's a moment when Tohru is leaving her job and her coworkers are like, is that a boy or a girl outside? And
for Yuki.
But in Japanese, it kind of sounds feminine, that it fits more with that look that he is very ambiguous in a attractive way, you know?
And I know in Japanese culture, like, that kind of like non-binary like look for a male is very
can be
like,
pretty, yeah.
It's very attractive for a lot of people.
Because the boy bands too, like wearing makeup. Yeah,
exactly. K-pop.
Yep. We get to meet Shiguri. We like the dog.
I love the dog. Is it Shiguri in Japanese?
Yeah, what do they say in English?
Shigure. So I feel like we're going to be like
Shigure.
pronouncing
We can
different
say Shigure.
things. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dog.
The dog guy.
Dog.
He is funny. I do
He is.
like his jabs at all the other
How
people so
old
far.
is he? Sorry, I'm just. I don't.
I want to say if they're high school, he feels like he's college, though
Okay.
he could be 30, but
Yeah.
I feel like he's the college kid to their high school.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Definitely, I think he's supposed to be
older.
older. Yeah. Though they have the thing later where we meet another character where she's 2 years older, but does not seem so. But
Age is nothing in this
no,
series.
it is not. What do you guys think of her friends? We got Uo and Hana, the Yankee and the Witch.
I adore them.
They're pretty awesome.
Dig them.
I have to say, that I really love. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. One of them looks like Liz from Soul Eater. I'm just gonna say that.
Ooh,
The
that's
tall.
the
Yeah,
Yankee.
that's Uo. It's Uo. Uo is how you spell
But I
it.
love the witch. What's her
Yes,
name?
Hana.
Hana.
She's so
I do love her.
freaking hilarious. Electricity and like she's psychic or whatever, and she's
And how
so
they bleep
brooding.
out what I'm gonna do to you.
She's awesome. I hope there's like I don't know. I want to know more about her because she's ridiculously awesome. I will say that.
Yes.
She's cool.
It's also a nice moment where we get to see culture in terms of them referring to a blonde character as your Yankee, as in they're not Japanese origin. Some anime have that and some don't. Oran has a character that he's half French, half Japanese, but blonde hair, blue eyes, yeah, natural. But it's kind of neat to see, like, within the culture of a real world, because, you know, another anime, they might not even
Shout out to the chat, Veronica.
Yes.
Were you gonna say?
Go for it.
I was gonna. Are you
Yeah,
looking
no.
at the comment that I was gonna say?
We have to give love to the chat. We forgot about you.
Yeah, you go for it.
Well, shout
Ollie.
out to Miraculous Corazon for saying Shigure is 26.
Okay,
And shout out
thank
to
you.
everyone else, like Starcloak. We see Rose Edmond.
Starcloak mentions, yes, female. Yuki is a female. But it's not one of those I go, oh, it's a girl's voice. But I like the non-specificness of that voice. And I like the voice better. And then also mentions, Miraculous says Eric Vale, which I do love his voice work. I don't like it for this character after watching it in Japanese. Because it sounds so delicate and feminine in Japanese. And then having a older male essentially talk softly doesn't quite jive for me as a viewer.
Interesting.
But it's a definitely star-studded cast for that they've brought them back for the new one. So
I know.
you're just like, I'm ready, I'm waiting.
That was honestly a very exciting moment from watching this series previously, is to see that the four main people are coming back. So Laura Bailey as Tohru, Eric Vale as Yuki, Jerry Jewell as Kyo, and then I'm so sorry, I forgot who originally was the English voice actor of Shigure, but he is also coming back. So that was very exciting to see that they were coming back. And obviously, I don't know if we ever brought this up, but I feel like in other types of media, sometimes reboots can be a bit like, oh, it ended so well. Like, why are we rebooting it? Or why are we just like making more money off of something that's already popular? I love the idea of reboots in anime because there are so many anime throughout the year that because of money issues and like with the animation, they never get to complete their stories. And so I love the idea that they're starting to bring back some of these older series and continue them to finish it. It's true. It's for an anime fan, I feel like that's amazing because we have so many untold stories with anime.
Or we watch the thing where it's like the manga is here and then the anime's here and then surpasses it. It's like, no, we almost need it when it's done so we can get all of that information. Then we get the Hanajima sense unusual vibes about Yuki, which is funny. But yes, we can tell that her friends really care about Tohru. But she can't tell them the truth about where she lives and everything, which is kind of sad because she doesn't want to inconvenience them, which is you're too nice. She's like, I don't want them to feel bad. So we get Yuki and tells her about the Zodiac and then he's very anti-cat, which is generally comedic and everything.
Whatever.
Then
I love cats, just saying.
I was like, cats are great.
Curious to know if you love this cat.
Yes. Yuki and Shigure discover her tent and everything. They're like, no, you need to stay with us because she's sick and she gets her fever. And then, oh, man, it broke me this time to see her, like, when she's having her fever and she's so sad because the most painful thing is not telling her mom, come back soon. Oh, who cried? I was totally crying.
It did hit me much harder when I'm watching it now and as an adult. Because it's just one of those moments where you really think that something I don't know if insignificant is the word, but something so small that she didn't do one day. She's carrying the weight of that burden for the rest of her life.
Yeah. Because it's kind of a call and repeat that they have is Ita Rashai, then it's like, I'll be back. I'm leaving. I'm leaving and then be back soon. So it's just like you would do that. Like, you'd say it like, I love you too. And like how you can say it without meaning. And then the one time she doesn't say it. It's like, all the feels. Did you get the feels, viewers, listeners? I felt that was they did that well. And then, and so this was one where it was a slightly different between English and Japanese, but her mom's advice, which Yuki says, too, of be yourself and take things slowly. And in English, I think they just had to be true to yourself. But yes, she needs to take her time. It's like, you're not in a rush. And Ollie, as you were saying, it's like we need her to be true to who she is. Then we meet Kyo. What do you think of Kyo, Ollie?
He's fun. No, he really is. I really, really do like him. I'm definitely team Kyo. Not to talk about my hero, but like total Bakugo vibes a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
You know? So, and I'm just wondering, like, there's got to be like someone. Okay.
Yes,
so here's the thing. I feel like with this anime, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is like an anime where there's like ship wars. Is that true or not?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like people ship Tohru with like everyone, right? So like I just wonder, like, okay, who's gonna end up with who?
Yeah.
So or if that's okay, that
or it doesn't have to be a thing.
Exactly. That actually doesn't have to be a thing, but I do think he needs to take a chill pill here and there because sometimes he's a little bit much. You know,
this is true.
He's wild, kind of like a cat. Give him some catnip. He just needs some catnip.
Yeah.
Get some catnip.
And we get the big reveal where she slips, hugs him, and the other two, that was Sophie comedic. I love the music. And then surprise, we're animals.
I love when they turn into their Chinese Zodiac forms because they're just so cute.
They're very cute.
So adorable.
Because they're not that detailed sometimes.
It's very simplistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they zoom in and like...
The mouth doesn't move.
Yeah.
They talk. Their eyes are generally dots.
But it's so adorable when they...
Oh, when it's the big dots with the little white and they're going to cry. Because Yuki has that moment later where he's looking.
I was going to say, I'm with Ollie. I am Team Kyo. Like, I love my angsty boys. I went when I first watched the show, I went down a deep rabbit hole of like Kyo Sohma being my big anime crush.
Yeah.
So I love Kyo Sohma, obviously. But I had to say the one moment where I think I enjoy Yuki more is his adorableness as a rat.
It's true.
It's really
He's very
cute.
Yeah. We learn their family, there's the family head is Aikido, which we don't know a lot about, but we hear about them. So that's episode 1, which I didn't say the title, but The Strange Day. Episode 2, The Sohma Curse. So all of them, many years, generations, we don't really know why, but they're possessed of the Zodiac spirit. And you're naked when you transform, which is pretty funny, of them getting out of it. They changed real fast, though. Damn, they get in their clothes very quickly. They should just have everything be like snap-ons or snap-off or zippers.
They really should. That would be smarter.
Because it's like, it's going to happen, so may as well be like, and I like how they almost just don't care at this point. Like, it happens. At least there's a cloud
that covers things.
A little bit.
And I like that Toru's like embarrassed. She's not like one of the female characters that are like, oh, he's so cute. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, she gives him space. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look.
To me, she's not chasing after like any of these boys yet. Not that that's like a bad thing.
Well, she
but, like,
seems to have a crush on Yuki a little bit. Because he was the prince at school.
Yeah, or like a fondness or like an interest,
But I wouldn't say it's specific yet. So it's the opposite sex, and when they're in a weak disposition, they're not doing so well. And Kyo and Yuki pretty much only fight, and poor Kyo's our outsider. And we get worried because Shigure could erase her memories, which I was like, don't do it! Don't do it!
That's something that rewatching this anime has me questioning a little bit, is like, how do you have the ability to erase people's memories? Like, how kind of sci-fi are we getting in addition to this cutesy romance comedic anime?
I don't think they haven't explored it yet, but it's definitely one of those like, wait.
Yeah,
okay.
so like, wait. Does anyone else have like a special power? Well, okay, Hana seems maybe
later.
But that's something interesting that
we'll see if other things pop up.
But it shows a lot that they didn't take away her memories because they trust her. So
we get our special kabedon moment. I don't know if we've covered that word. Have we covered that word yet?
refresh my memory.
Okay, so we'll have our other special word of the day, but a new vocab for you guys, viewers, listeners, everybody, kabedon, and it's essentially it's in like every anime you've probably seen at least at one point. It's when a character puts their hand on a wall to the side of a character, and it's like bam, and stares at them all intensely, and it's generally
like that moment.
sexy. Always one of those. Yes, Anime Expo one year, a booth had it where you could pose with the person there, like as that, and you're like, yes, I'll take that one.
It makes you melt.
It does. You're like, oh. And it's one of those that can border on being aggressive.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's very sexy. It's okay if the character wants it. That's when you're like,
consent
okay,
is important.
Yes, consent's important. But she has a moment with Tohru and Yuki, and he does the double-handed one on her, and I was like, oh, there it is. It's in all of them. Happened so many times. His moment too of reflecting, and this is such a big thing as a teenager and adult, any age, of worried that he's strange and being told he's strange. Nobody's gonna like you because you're different. Like, how relatable do we feel this is an anime to tackle like that as a way to talk about, like, as a kid you feel different, but oh, you're different, nobody's gonna like you. Anybody have those kind of moments of like as a kid, or did it relate to you, connect to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think even as an adult, you have that worry about like, oh, you're just trying to be yourself, but there are so many people who won't like you, kind of thing, because of your weird quirks. Because we all have our quirks, and I find Yuki's internal battle interesting because he deeply feels this way of being an outsider, and it honestly just comes down to the fact that he does live with this curse. But it's interesting because, you know, he feels like an outsider, he feels like he's going to be judged, but yet everyone at his school loves him.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think it's a very important story to tell, or not so much important, but it's just a relatable story that even fans of anime, like growing up in high school, middle school, whatever, people looked at you stupid. It's like people were like would bully you or look at you weird because even though they probably watch anime too.
Yeah.
I know, no, but like because anime has kind of like that stigma to it, like anime freaks, anime whatever. So yeah, I think it's like that's what it reminded me of when you brought up the subject. It's kind of like you feel different for liking something, you feel different for just, I don't know, your sexuality, your gender, whatever, you know, so it's just something that people, I think, can relate to a lot by watching this anime.
Oh, yeah. This is the moment also where I feel that Yuki kind of has a thing for Tohru, where he's starting to be like, oh, you would like me anyways? Okay. And it's the ship wars too. If we'll see of where our triangles and crisscrossing.
I'm curious if when you first watched this, which way you went.
I don't remember who I would have picked for her at first, because right now, from watching it now, I feel she likes Yuki more than Kyo, but he's not out of the question because she's more concerned that he's upset with her. Like, she's not concerned he doesn't like me that way, but Yuki she's having a bit more of a connection with right now. This is like The Bachelor or Bachelorette, you know, of like, who are they having their connection with? I don't watch either of those shows, but it's that idea of who are you connecting with better at different points. But I'm also okay with the idea that she ends up with none of them, and it's more that they become more like a family to her.
Yeah.
And then they would totally all be the big brothers and sisters if she goes to try to date somebody of like, we will take care of you.
Yeah.
It's been too long that, I don't recall, but I would almost go with what I'm picking now of it feels like she's connecting with Yuki a little bit more, but that might only be superficial at this point because she doesn't really know him yet. You know, it's like maybe you like him because he's attractive, but not necessarily because personalities gel enough.
I think she should pick herself. No.
Yes, love yourself.
I like what you said about her kind of becoming one with the family because her mom, her dad are no longer in her life. So she's kind of like, instead of having that typical like romance story, I'm not trying to crap on like romance stories, but I think it's almost more, it would be more beautiful to see her kind of like become this part of this family.
Different kind of
or
love.
maybe a part of the family through romance, you know, through marriage, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think this is like, to me, hopefully she does kind of join the family in a sense.
So she doesn't have to lose her memory. We get that. We get to keep it secret. Yay that she enjoys cleaning and cooking, because that's the perfect person of like, why don't you live with us? You can cook and clean. And then she's like, yes, I like it. Yes. Free room and board. Okay. And especially, because she likes it. Because there are those people that, I mean, okay, there we go. Least favorite chore and favorite chore.
Mine?
In general, for you.
You're like, do I have a favorite?
I don't like doing dishes, but I'll do them. But I have no problem doing laundry. I can do laundry all day long and not mind.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't really fold things right away, but I don't mind washing it to be going out and coming back in. So just question on that of, and I love cooking. So.
You know what? I hate anything that has to do like trash. Like I don't know why. I just do not. Well, it's disgusting.
Sure.
And maybe for favorite, maybe like cleaning like my room, my living space, because I want that to be as tidy as possible.
Sure.
But yeah, what about you? What about you, Veronica?
No, I would probably say like maybe tidying up living spaces, just because like I like to organize, and it's like, okay, you know, I like the feeling of accomplishment when it looks really nice. I would probably say like maybe bathroom cleaning.
Yeah, that's definitely on the bottom.
It's like, I don't know.
Similar to trash.
Cleaning mirrors and showers.
Hygiene and like this is a really gross room. It's like
I mean, we should. We definitely should. But it's
just
not,
doesn't mean you're
it's not the
jumping at
best.
doing it. So yeah, leave comments down below which chores do you like the least to like the most, because it's such a big thing in this show. If she's cleaning, and then we have another character who does cleaning, and this anime borders on slice of life. We just have these other elements to it that make it a little more exciting, because it's like chores, but that's what we do in our lives too. So
I also love this trope that happens a lot of in anime, where it's like, oh, a girl who seems like on the opposite, like on a, like when opposites attract, like an opposite girl and an opposite boy just somehow end up living together, and then they magically fall in love. Like, I love this trope.
And a girl living in a home with a whole bunch of boys too in high school that aren't family.
I know, it's just like, it's a weird trope that I enjoy, just because, I don't know, it really brings out interesting developments of all of their characters, regardless of how, you know, their outcomes are.
Or even how they have to deal with it at school. Like, we get the moment where she comes to school and the girls, the fan club for Yuki, like, oh, you walk together? She cannot tell them they live together. Do we think that kind of humor was funny? It was borderline for me. I'm like, they're weirdos, but I think we're supposed to think they're weird and annoying.
Oh, I think that
the cheer squad.
Yeah, I think it's funny because they're weirdos and because they're not malicious.
Yeah.
Like, they're
just psychopaths.
They're just weird. They're not malicious. They're not like,
They're not hurting her.
they're not hurting her.
No.
So that's why I think it's a little bit more on the, oh, I can laugh at this and be okay.
Yeah. Starcloak points out Tohru is almost the ideal Japanese girl. Yamato Nadeshiko, if you're familiar with that concept. Yeah, no, she likes to cook and clean, and like she's your perfect maid.
Yeah.
And then she's cute. We have Kyo. We learned also he disappeared for 4 months doing his training in the wilderness, which we don't really know about. And now he's transferred to their school. And, oh, poor boy, overwhelmed at school, which is very funny, because then you're enjoying watching him be like, too much going on.
To be fair, I would too. Everyone's just getting up in his business.
Yes.
Like, give me some room.
He has his Ichigo blonde hair too, of like, oh my goodness, where are you from? And all these things, and all the girls.
He's such an anarchist. I know. I'm excited for him to kind of like be more socialized with people and strangers, and to kind of just see those crazy dynamics, even though it might be like ridiculous and he might cause some trouble, but I think he needs it. I think he needs it to kind of pull him.
Get out of his comfort zone.
Exactly. It's important.
All of them do in their own ways. Episode 3, well, speaking of that, all shapes and sizes. Oh my goodness, this had some good moments too of life lessons. So we get Yuki and Kyo, and pretty much why would they want to go to a mixed school and everything. And we get Yuki talking about like, well, I want to get out of the Aikido cage, which is like, okay, that makes sense. But poor Kyo only wants to do is beat Yuki and become a member of the family. But they have their issues there. Of do we think he's a little too got his blinders on for Kyo, of like, all I want to do is do this energy. I think he needs to funnel it another direction.
I think he doesn't know how else to live because he's just been an outsider all of his life, and he's never. Like, he grew up thinking he needs to be one thing, and the fact that he's not, that's all he's kind of ever known his entire life. So he doesn't know how to acclimate himself into normal society, which, like, Yuki finds sad that he can't. Yeah. He doesn't, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He doesn't own it, I guess.
Well, it's the game when they're playing the, you know, he can, Yuki is not, he has this, I think that's later of push. Oh yeah, there we go. He rejects others, and he's kind of jealous that Kyo's able to get along with people even if he's not trying to, which is cute on their relationship.
But that's kind of like the story of like kind of like obviously him being like the black sheep or black cat or orange cat, whatever you want to call it, of the family. And even though you're not really necessarily, you don't feel like you're a part of the family, you can still, you're like a part of like someone else's family, or you just get along with other people, whatever. Whereas even though the family sees you as a part of the family, such as like Yuki, like, oh, you were like the golden child, you are the messiah, you can still like, just because people tell you that it's like an inner conflict within yourself that you don't feel that. It's something, I don't know. I don't really necessarily know why he feels like that.
Yeah. Definitely issues.
But I think a lot of people can feel that way.
Okay, totally different track, but when she tells him I like you and I like the cat, that was a cute moment when she's walking with him. But that leads to the other moment where they're walking and she's like, oh, I thought you were a molester. Okay, this is like the weirdest side tangent that's popped up in more than one episode of it's not safe for girls to walk home. There's molesters out there that I'm like, was there something going on at this time when this was made that it was such an issue? I mean, I get it of like, oh, it's not safe for girls to walk out at night. But do either of you, did it stand out to you of like, wow, you're really pushing that?
I think with
something.
I think that's like a thing that comes up just with like
safety
anime
in general.
Yeah, and also like it's like schoolgirls.
I guess,
like,
yeah.
There's just something about that. Not to like creepify anything with this anime, because I don't think that this isn't that type of anime at all. But it didn't really like strike a chord with me or anything
as
like that personally.
Weird, yeah.
Just more was like, okay, this popped up again. We get to see the secret base, the garden, which was cute. They have a little thing together. Okay, so kindness. Do we think you are born with kindness?
Yes. I would say so. I think you, everything is learned as you grow up. So if you're bad, it's because you learn to be bad. If you're good, if it's because you learn to be good. But I think that we are all just kind of born, and we are obviously products of our environments.
Yeah. And I think there's like natures to go along with that, because some people like are shy, some people are just like naturally extroverted. I don't know. It's just like, but I agree with that too. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Because like, even though like, for example, like a character like Krona, not to jump back to Soul Eater, but we just watched it. But like,
we did. We know we can jump around.
But like, like Krona was just naturally very timid, despite his mom or their mom being just so nasty and evil and trying to ingrain that. Yet that didn't correlate or mesh with Krona. So I think it's a little bit of a combination between being a product of your environment, but also exactly.
I like the mom bringing that up as a point that like people learn kindness in a way, and there's just different kinds of kindness. And I hadn't thought of it the same way. I definitely think it's a nature and nurture of. It's like the idea that children aren't inherently bad. They just learn behavior and repeat it and don't understand it maybe, and then internalize it and then don't even know that they're doing it. But I like that it's an anime that brings up these things that you go, oh yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of kindness as a learned behavior that way, or that you have to practice it, like her mom said, which is cute. And then funny note, how much did we like that little daydream she had with Kyo and Yuki of like, oh friend, we can just be together and I'm so sorry I misunderstood you. I'm like, oh, girls having some fantasy daydreams. There we go. She doesn't want them with her. She just wants to ship them.
Right?
I mean, I would.
Right? We're all just like, yeah, thank you. It's, we're getting our own yaoi program for her.
Tohru is secretly a fujoshi.
Yeah, he's like, hello. Episode 4, here comes Kagura, which, oh my goodness. What did we think of Kagura?
She's awesome. I love her so much. She's wild and out. She's punching things, people, and I want to see more of her.
I love the fact that she, she's like Ollie was saying, she's crazy, and she can be one extreme one minute and then be the opposite the next, and it's so funny. And I love the fact that she has a genuine heart of wanting to try and be helpful, but I also love the comedic side of it when, it turns out to backfire. She's like, well, I'm just gonna mess with you instead.
Yes. We have her that she arrives, she likes Kyo, and they were going to get married, or they're going to get married, apparently, she thinks, which is so funny. She's very cute, but a bit rough, which is cute. Zodiacs can hug each other, because that was a moment that the boys and girls, so we learned there are 3 girls out of the 12.
Question.
/13.
Is it this episode or was it last episode where Yuki gets a confession and he grabs her head?
I think it's last.
That's something else that I noticed this watching it around this time that I didn't notice necessarily before is like, is it only like full embracing, or is it? I mean,
I think it's a full chest to chest.
I think it has to be like some kind of full embrace, because I think skin to skin just doesn't do that, because he was able to touch her.
And I think he can like hold hands or shake hands. I think it's like chest to chest, torso to torso, because it's generally because she's not even completing her hugs often on when Tohru fell on them, but more like full front to their bodies. So I think you have to get closer.
Yeah.
Because damn, that would be hard if like almost literally
Any
can't
physical
touch people. Yeah.
contact, yeah.
That'd be a bit much. Then we have her trying to help with the cooking and laundry, and it's pretty much just a disaster, which is kind of cute and funny. And this was cute when Yuki and Tohru are walking, and she kind of points out that no, her obsession and love is cute because she still loves this guy after like 10 years. And later, even when she tells Kyo, like, you may think like she's a bit overbearing, but the fact that she still loves you kind of says something.
The
So
fact
it's like, yeah, that's true.
it's actually also an interesting concept rewatching it, that I'm surprised Kyo doesn't feel. Obviously, he doesn't have to love her, but feel any type of gratitude for her, and that she's the only person to accept him. And not just the only person to accept him, someone from the family who has shunned him his whole life. So I'm surprised that there is no ounce of gratitude in him with her.
And include him. She's like, why didn't you call me while you were gone? And you could have told me, where have you been? And somebody who actually cares. That's a really good point. We have Kagura. Oh, yeah. Kagura and Tohru, though, bonding, making the doors. And the little cutouts were so cute. It's like, see, she made the rat. That made sense.
She makes a lot of... Also, shout out to Tohru, because she makes good-looking snacks.
Oh
She
my gosh,
does.
the rice balls.
Yes. You're like, can I have some, please?
Oh my gosh, she needs to make me some snacks.
Right.
That's another thing that I'm very happy about. I mean, yes, I'm happy about the good-looking snacks, but that's something else I'm happy about in this series, is that this is from watching this, it's clear that this could be a potential love triangle with rivals. But I'm happy that Tohru is a positive enough person not to see it as like, you're my rival, I'm not gonna like you, I'm not gonna support you. And the same with Kagura, because she's clearly seeing that Tohru is living with them and she doesn't get to live with Kyo as much as she would love to. So I'm happy that they're not being seen as rivals. Tohru wants to be her friend.
Especially like females against females. It's more so males against males in this anime from what I'm seeing thus far. And it's nice, like, because it's so, like, obviously, like, in this day of age, it's all like where women need to stick together. So
yes,
it's nice
and
to see
work
Tohru
for each other. Yeah. TMNT in the chat points out, holding hands is fine, hugging arms fine, but full body hug is the poof, which is a good point. Yes. Yes, the Kyo and Tohru on the roof bonding when he tells the tale of training, and that was really cute. He's like, this must be really boring for a girl. And then I liked her, I just don't know what you're talking about, but I like hearing it, which is interesting of that being a supportive friend of like, I don't know what you're into, but I'm excited when you're excited to tell me about it. And we got one of our words, because remember we said hidari and migi, so that's left and right, because she said right, straight. So in Japanese, she did the migi, whatever, straight, like a right punch, which was cute. So we have we learned his sensei is a Sohma. But we don't know which family member. And before we reveal what the animal was, Ollie, did you know what the animal was for Kagura?
No.
I thought she was going to be an ox, actually. I was like, oh, is she the ox? I forget what they all are. Like, it's been that long that the side ones, I don't really remember. But that kind of makes sense because it's the wild boar running through the brush or whatever, and, like, the energy. I go, okay, that... Yeah.
I think as watching this as an adult, that's kind of a fun mystery of like putting together the context clues of who they could be before they revealed.
Yes.
But I think watching it, even maybe watching it when I was younger and maybe even watching it now, that's the fun mystery of like, who are they going to be?
Yes. And then the very end, we get the strawberries. So this is Yuki flirting with Tohru, well, question mark. And do we notice also, she constantly refers to him as Sohma. She doesn't call him Yuki. Because she'll say Kyo's name, but that also says maybe she feels more familiar with Kyo because she calls him that. But she says Sohma for the Japanese one.
It's funny because in the dub, she refers to them as Kyo and Yuki, but only Yuki refers to as Miss Honda.
Okay. Interesting. Any other thoughts on these episodes before we move on?
Just the one thing that I quickly wanted to point out that I really appreciated in rewatching it a second time was the difference between Kyo and Yuki, and how like they both have something that the other wants, whereas Kyo is, jealous, not Kyo. Kyo is jealous of Yuki, obviously, for being a part of the family that he wants to be a part of, and Yuki's jealous of Kyo for not realizing that he has a part in a world that he's not taking advantage of, and that's also something I really, because that could be seen as like a halfling, and that's something I really appreciate in shows like Inuyasha and Tokyo Ghoul, where it's like, oh, it could be seen as the person who's a halfling can see it as a negative and like, I don't belong in either place, but then someone else could see it as like,
the other goes, yes, you do.
Yes, you're the greatest. You have the place in both. So I loved kind of seeing it that way.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm really curious to see where these characters continue to develop. And yeah, it's been too long. I'm like, I don't remember all the details, so we'll see. But it's still a very cute show. So we'll do our special segment. We have our word of the day. So we did this one before, but we'll do it again. It's Neko. So it's the word for cat. So in your Romaji, it's Neko. So
Neko.
Yay! Yeah, there we go. Nice. I like kitty cat. Because we get them, and that was so adorable.
Meow.
And we'll do a quick news thing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yay! Yeah, so yesterday I went to Anifest down in Torrance, California, which was very nice and it was fun checking out. And so I have a little video which we'll show you, and I'll also post it on our Twitter, which is ABTVanime, and you can watch the full thing. It's just it's a video clip or clips of video of the event. And they had live performances a lot. It was at the Torrance Cultural Center, which was a really cool idea. I've never been to a smaller con that's at a cultural center, because other ones have been hotels. But for me, they feel a little bit like you're just too much in the hotel lobby and hallways. Yeah. But this one I liked because you had the entrance, which was in like a building, and then they had Artist Alley outside. They had like a Japanese garden, so people are taking tons of cosplay photography over there. They had a indoor building for the exhibit hall. There we go. And then another one for exhibit like smaller clothing vendors, and then there was a room for more idol singing, and then they had an outdoor stage for big performances. They had singers, they had taiko and dancers, which was really a neat idea of like going to different spots. So it felt a bit more like a festival rather than a con. I think they maybe had like one panel and then they had one movie screening or so, but it was more like music and shopping and performance, because they had the dance and the taiko. But I'd recommend it if it's if you're in the area, it's close by. It's only like $15. They only do the one day, but once a year. So Anifest. Yeah. So check them out online at anifest.org, and then we'll post the link on our Twitter too.
I also think that's just telling of smaller anime conventions / festivals in general. Is that they're very fun because they're obviously different experiences as opposed to like the big star-studded ones where it's like you need to be waiting hours to see like 5 minutes, a 5-minute trailer or something. It's definitely a different experience, and if you're down for trying something new, I think it's
$40 for parking for like the big con.
Come on.
They had free parking. They had free parking at the venue.
There you go.
So yeah, if you like smaller cons too, leave comments. What are some of your favorite ones? We want to give shout outs to the smaller cons as well. All right. Let's do some rapid fire predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I guess I can make some because it's been too long. Veronica, I feel like you know it pretty well, but maybe you can say stuff without giving things away. And then Ollie, do you have any predictions on anything you think is gonna?
I feel like honestly, like this isn't the type of anime, but I think there's going to be like a fight, like an actual like pretty. Maybe it'll be a funny fight, but I think someone's gonna square up and throw down just because like I feel like it's gonna be like. Obviously Kyo, like he's gonna fight someone. I don't know if it's Yuki or someone else from the family, but I think that, and hopefully the fight does kind of like resolve an issue. I just want, and I hope that Kyo does feel eventually a part of the family because he deserves to be, because he is.
Yeah. I want to actually make a prediction kind of with a reboot comparison.
Yeah.
So in this 2001 anime, obviously the anime kind of took a different route for some of the characters than they did in the manga. And so I'm very curious if in the reboot it's going to stick with those choices or if it's going to go more manga. Because if it goes more manga, then I think it becomes very clear the destiny of it becomes more clear earlier on the destiny of some of these characters. So I'm very curious to see, which route they take or if the anime does kind of make some of their own decisions. I'm very curious.
That'd be really cool. Hopefully something, it's like kind of reinvents it a little bit and
Yeah, I'm curious the
does
differences
things
they'll do.
it didn't do in the original anime.
And no promises yet. We'll see if we can watch some of that as well and talk about. But right now we are talking more the OG one, which is kind of fun to go look at them again later on. Like similar for you, Ollie, of Soul Eater, of like, oh yeah, I watched it then and now. I think it will be fun. I'm curious how much I'll remember as the Zodiac pop-up of who's who. And I think I'm curious how I don't remember how long it takes for like more of a conflict to really come up and Tohru to meet this family, and she seems like somebody who can help them figure out their issues, because it takes someone sometimes from the outside to be like, hey, this is what's going wrong with stuff and let me help you, because she really does. She wants to help and she wants to be that helpful person. Awesome. So thank you so much watching, listening. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and if you're on iTunes, 5 stars, because 1 through 4 don't work. Leave comments down below what you thought of these episodes. Please don't get ahead, because people like Ollie have never seen it, which is so exciting. And then Jamie wasn't able to make it today. She hasn't seen it and she is liking it too, so I'm curious what her thoughts are on it. Ollie, where can people find you online?
Hey guys, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Ollie Dreamer.
Hey everyone, Veronica Valencia here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at it's me, Veronica_V.
And my name's Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And make sure to follow us also on Twitter at ABTVanime. I'll post that link to the Anifest video. And we post all kinds of other things on there. Other anime news, manga reviews, and such. Again, thank you so much for watching and listening. And we'll see you all next time. Sayonara.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.